Hey world, what's up? Miss V here from Authentic Vibrations. Just coming to bring you some love today. For anyone that knows me, hey, what's going on? For anyone that doesn't, I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of kind of what my background is. I've been working mental health and addictions with at-risk youth and adults for I don't know, the last 20 years. About 3 years ago, I decided to take a step out and open my own business so that I could embody mind, body, and soul education and healing while I was working with clients. So I do healing sessions both in person and in distance. I do readings, either half an hour or an hour long, as well as insight coaching. I'm a huge, huge believer that we all have our own insight and our own wisdom. But that sometimes our human conditioning distracts us from being able to hear that. So I really help people work through their own dualities that are working against them and teach them how to flip the script on those dualities so that life can start working for them all over, so that they can walk with intent into a future and create the future that they want to actually have for themselves. So if you would like any help, the universe has asked me to bring this out to the world a little differently. So if you would like some support in your own ascension process, please feel free to reach out to me. All my information will be in the link below, as well as my services and prices. Excuse me. So I got into a meditation and right before I came on, and I started shuffling the cards at the end of the meditation. So as I was shuffling, I pressed record, but so many cards were flying out of the deck that I was like, okay, this is a really big message. I wanted to make sure that I could really embody it, take it in, and embrace what they really want us to look at from the conscious collective at the moment. So I decided to lay out my cards. Now there's 4 different decks that have called me, and I've only so far shuffled one. So I'm hoping that this video won't be too long, but I'm just really going to be diligent in relaying whatever messages they want you to actually be aware of at this time, okay? The first thing that was coming out and came out very, very loudly is that there's a lot of people confronting all of the challenging times that they've had and the darkest fears that they have been facing. So over the last 3 years, we've all went through some serious shit, okay? There's been so much sorting and sifting. It's like a humongous roller coaster ride that we were on between, you know, the good side of us and the naughty side of us. It's like there was this... We were in a wonderland or at an amusement park, and we were on all these different rides thinking that it was, you know, some were scary as hell and some were fun as hell. So it's like we've been, you know, I'm seeing going through the process, right? So it's almost like going through the diamond process, putting the pressure on in order for people to truly become the diamonds that they are, is my sense of it. But there is some people in the collective that I'm speaking to right now that have been having a very difficult time confronting their own darkest fears, and it has been creating a lot of challenging times in their life. I'm feeling this sense of resistance. So it's almost like you have become awoken to the reality that you need to make different choices in order for your life to look different, in order for you to feel different, in order for you to come out of the depression, the despair, the isolation, the helplessness, the hopelessness. All of these really, really low vibrational feelings are surrounding me right now. And one of the things that I'm sensing is that, you know, it's almost like you've come to this place of being prompted or told or directed to surrender, to drop your swords, drop your baggage. And it's almost like I'm seeing someone like in a corner being like, no, I don't want to let go of all my wounds. And yet the universe has like all of this energy that's coming towards you as almost like a magnet to really hold the space for you and help support pulling you out of the helplessness and hopelessness. What they're saying next is that they really, really, it's painful for them to watch you refuse to see that this is actually up to you to take accountability for. So my sense right now is that, you know, it's almost like seeing 2 sides of a person, and the one side of the critical voice is really beating them up. It's in the self-loathing, it's in the self-deprecation, it's in the, it's the battle. It's like, your own critical voice is beating you up hardcore. And yet the other side of you is like whispering in your ear or whispering to your heart or calling to your soul to remember how amazing you are, how many strengths you actually have. They're reminding you of your skills and your talents and your gifts. And yet it's like you're just refusing to see that there's another side to this hopelessness and helplessness. So what they're asking is for you to be able to change your focus. They're asking that you actually recognize that on the other side of hopelessness and helplessness is hope and help. And they want to be there to support you. They want to help you get out of this heavy, low vibration energy that you've been in. I'm also seeing Jupiter being the planet that's like holding space for people to be able to balance between these two things, to balance between the hopelessness and helplessness and balance between hope and help, to really be able to put these challenging times to rest. Okay. My feeling all of a sudden is like this. Okay, it's all good. It's all good. Like Jupiter is all about spirituality. It's all about the revolution. It's all about us coming into our own and the evolution of ourselves. So starting to honor and own who we are as a person outside of this human conditioning. Because let's be honest, guys, no matter what it is that we've been through or are going through, we are still magnificent human beings underneath it all, okay? So I'm hearing change your focus. So in order for you to be able to actually find any sort of balance, you've got to confront the part of you, so confronting the part of you that is refusing to see that on the other side of hope and helplessness, hopelessness and helplessness is actually hope and help, okay? So they're really just asking you to start opening up your heart, getting a little bit more centered in your own trust in yourself, okay? In order for you to be able to embrace the opportunity to start believing that there is another side of the coin. So what I'm hearing right now is that they want you to wake up. Hello, we didn't send you here to be miserable, is what they're saying. We sent you here to break and then build, not just break and remain wounded and miserable and stuck in this human world feeling as crappy as you feel right now. So I'm really sensing like the angels being your cheerleaders, like, hey man, come on, opportunity is awaiting you, but and you just got to believe it. Opportunity is here for you. We're planting the seeds. We're trying to help you rebuild, but we need you to be able to seek within yourself the opposite paradox of hopelessness, helplessness, so that you can actually recognize that all that means is that it's about flipping the script in your space that is stuck so that you can actually see the hope and the help that is available to you, so that you can be able to walk with intent and start creating the future that it is that you want. Because right now, your life is a result of all of the things that you chose not to pay attention to, follow through on, flip your script with, all of the corrective thinking that is required at this point in time is our own individual responsibility to fulfill. We must be the ones that do the mind work. We must be the ones that manage our emotions, that follow our senses and our vibes to really navigate through this life. And what I'm hearing is that we've went through such an awakening now that we're at the point where our soul is so aligned with that awakening and that consciousness, the rise in consciousness, that if we're just sitting here being human beings stuck in the conditioning of all of the past and the wounds, we're just going to remain more and more miserable. It's going to get worse and worse. You're resisting yourself. You're resisting your essence. You're resisting your ability to see the other side. With every pro, there's a con. With every con, there's a pro. It's about balancing it out in order for you to actually be able to recognize that it's no longer serving you to stay stuck in that space of isolation and sadness and depression. And they're really asking you to reconsider the power that you truly have to be able to make new choices, to truly be able to finally rebuild. Okay, it's this next section, and I just got a glimpse of the whole fact that seasons are changing. So it's almost like I'm watching all of the ice melt, right? We're in a place where it's time to be really gentle with ourselves. It's about recognizing, how it is that our deepest fears had actually created these limitations that we've been going through. So our deepest fears have actually created the challenging times. And guys, like the last 3 years on this planet has been difficult. But I'm a true believer that the only reason that it had to be that way was because 2019 is a monumental shift in the consciousness of this whole entire planet. And we needed to gain clarity in order for us to truly be able to step into our own power, to really truly be able to remember who we are, and to remember how to walk with intent from here on in. Okay. The next thing that I'm hearing is that it's time to evaluate the way that you give and receive. It's almost like I'm seeing a ton of different relationships that are out there. So friendships, relationships, co-working relationships, all the way across the board. And I'm hearing that in order for us to be able to really give and receive to ourselves at the level that we're worthy and deserving of giving to ourselves, that we need to allow for ourselves to go into the space of rebuilding. We need to embrace the fact that we actually do have the opportunity for balance as long as we change our focus and actually believe that there is opportunity coming forward to us. Okay, so it's like this is the opposite side of that hopelessness and helplessness, but it's almost as though you need to recognize for yourself the way that you give and receive to yourself in order for you to be able to truly see both sides. So, when you look at giving to yourself, what do you give yourself? Do you give yourself negative thinking? Do you always beat yourself up? Are you always in self-loathing? What are you receiving in return? Well, if your mind is really stuck in all of those things, then you're going to naturally and automatically receive external situations that are constantly putting in your own face the way you rip yourself off. Other people will rip you off. Other people will not be willing to be giving to you in ways that you want them to give to you. You'll be receiving their crap instead of gifts and glories and blessings. So really just the self-inventory checklist that we're all capable of doing in order to fine-tune our dial. So what I mean by that is, the pros and cons list again, strengths and weaknesses, what are they, getting clarity all over again about who you are, what you're about. Yeah, it's like they're saying, wake up. And for those who are doing this work, I'm also hearing congratulations. I'm also feeling as though for the ones doing the work, there's well-deserved reward that is coming forward for you. There's a lot of people on this planet that are going to receive an abundance of blessings this year because of the fact that you've been very diligent in doing your work over the last 3 years. And the angels are saying, thank you so much for all the work that you've been doing. Thank you for finding the other side of the coin. Thank you for flipping your script. Thank you for walking with intent. Okay, so I am hearing that as we open up our heart chakras to ourselves and others, we will find more of a balance within ourselves. It's almost as though I'm seeing this person that is like on the fence. It's almost like they've been stuck in the darkness and in their conditioning, but they're waking up to the fact that they're not the only one that feels like they don't belong on this planet. Hey man, there's tons of us. What's up? I'm one of them. I happen to be a soul that ended up in this human body on this planet. And yeah, you better believe I go through things all the time about feeling outer worldly and not knowing how to actually take in my own human experience here. So one of the things that I'm seeing is that it's almost like that magnet that I was speaking about from the very beginning that's holding space for people to be able to come out of the old cycle and season of that self-loathing and self-depression and just like really beating up on yourself. It's almost like I'm seeing that the way to get to the other side and allow for that magnet to truly pull you out and help you catapult out of that low vibrational space into a higher vibration would be to get in touch with nature. Go and just daydream, man. Go, I'm like, that's the next card that's coming up here is go do some daydreaming. Go and look at what like options you have in life now that you're starting to remember that there's hope and there is help that is available to you in order for you to get out of the funk that you've been in. Now, excuse me, what I'm also feeling with this is that any of the decisions that come onto, or sorry, any of the daydreams that you find on your heart will help you navigate as to what choices and decisions you actually need to make in order for you to be able to find the success that is available to you because of the fact that you're changing your focus, finding balance, embracing who you are, embracing the opportunity to build, and starting to open yourself to looking at opportunities again. I'm hearing really loudly, take the lead. Like, know who you are. Remember who you are. As you've been sitting there milking all these things that the human conditioning has done to you, the ways that you feel unworthy, the ways that you feel unloved, the ways that you feel disappointed. I'm really feeling like an elastic band stretching. So it's almost like you've stretched that elastic band so far that it's about to snap and it's going to catapult you forward. Kind of like the Sagittarius arrow. You pull back just as far as you need to go forward. I'm getting the same kind of feeling, and I really do feel like that energy is Jupiter and the angels all kind of working together in order for you to be able to gain a higher understanding of who you are as a person, how you function as a person, and be able to move forward with owning and honoring your own intelligence at a totally different level. I am hearing that it's time to trust. I'm hearing that you have been receiving things in your third eye chakra. You've been receiving hope. And it's like I'm hearing them laugh, kind of like, man, are you done resisting? I feel like the people that have been resisting seeing how to balance, how to rebuild, how to embrace all of the changes that they're internally going through. It's like they're saying, are you done being miserable? Because like, hey, we would like for you to actually enjoy your life. Are you ready? Because they know that you are simply love. Underneath all of this distortion of how you see yourself, because of your human experience, you are love still. And they really want you to start owning and honoring the love that is within you and surrounds you on this planet in order for you to start actually being able to feel that yourself. What I'm hearing is that as you do finally start paying attention and trusting this process, because we're all going through it, we are fine-tuning, all of our senses are fine-tuning, our telepathy is getting louder, our vibrations are getting louder, we're starting to be able to tap into who's calling our phone before we pick up the phone and see who it is at a totally different level. Our intuition is really getting stronger, guys, and it's time that we truly start trusting it. A lot of the miserable people that have been sitting in depression, have been sitting in angst, in turmoil, in their wounds, is because along their journey they have tuned out or tried to turn off their own senses. They thought that they would be weird or crazy, or they were told that they were weird or crazy. And it's really time that we start to acknowledge and trust that every single one of us human beings are actually going through this process on this planet. And it's time for you to take accountability for the role that you play in this world too. It's time for you to make the choice to really take responsibility for the way that you're thinking and feeling and acting. It's time for you to be able to actually recognize where it is time to take back your own power. Let yourself get rid of all the different labels that have actually created limitations in your life. Let go of all of the things that no longer serve your highest purpose, because 2019 is a massive year for this planet, and they want you to join the party instead of just sit in the corner crying. All right. I am hearing that if you do the trusting, and you know that it's really about time that you're going to go through a rebirthing process so that you can actually bloom within. You can grow, you can evolve, you can expand, and you can actually receive the rewards that you have actually been daydreaming about. Okay, so it's almost like now I'm seeing someone that is sitting in the corner. They're in their little space of isolation, and they have very, very low vibration. But on one side of them, there's a little bit of stimulation there of like, okay, but you know, you're really good at this, or you're really good at this, whether it's drawing or painting or dancing or music or whatever that looks like. But it's almost like you're recognizing that on that side, and this is why the magnet is holding the space for you to come over to the light, right? Get out of the dark and come over to the light. We're changing seasons, we're changing cycles. And what I am hearing is that your prayers have actually been answered, but they require you to do the work internally, sorting and sifting through the thoughts that are working against you, helping yourself correct them into the thoughts that will work for you. And recognize that the energy that you carry through that will attract better situations than what you've come across in the past when you were just sitting in the self-loathing. When we are in a negative vibration, we attract negative things. It's just a law of attraction. They want you to wake up. They want you to start actually exercising the spiritual side of you that is aware that there is synchronicity, there are signs, it is a beautiful world out here. We all do deserve to own and honor and find the love within us and share that. We have important things to say. We are all individuals. None of us get to observe and record the journey like we do individually. And that is priceless. So allow yourself to start recognizing that you have the opportunity to start doing the healing and to start allowing yourself to own what it is that you've come to this earth to see. What is it that you've learned from all these hardships that you've went through, and what can you pass on for those who come in, okay? Because yeah, I'm really feeling this sense of like, man, it's time for you to take the lead. It's time for you to take back your power and take the lead in your life. It is time for you to change your focus, find a better balance. Like, man, they want you to embrace the fact that you do have good qualities, good skills, good talents. It's almost like I'm seeing this person that is beating themselves up for the choices that they've made in the past. And yet, like, the universe is not sitting there going, oh, I'm going to punish you because you made those choices. Reality is that we do what we know until we know how to do it different. When we learn how to do it different and we still do the old things that we used to instead of changing our behavior, we become more disconnected from ourselves. And the more disconnected from ourselves that we become, the more depressed or physically ill we become. We become more and more and more disconnected, and that just feels less and less and less good until we're at rock bottom. So what I'm hearing is that it really is about, you know how to do better, so start doing better, okay? They want you to be grounded. There was a spread of cards that came out that was really interesting because these ones asked me to put them over here and they asked me to put them in this order. They want you to be grounded. They want you to find stability. They want you to be able to embrace balance, okay? Change your focus so that you can embrace balance and rebuild yourself from a grounded position, okay? They want you to observe. Like, ask for help. Like, you know, look at the sky and say, like, angels, universe, everyone that works in my temple of love, light, truth, power, and abundance, please come forward and show me signs that things are going to get better. Ask for something specific. This week, I would like for you to show me one person in my life that I need to rid of my life. Or this week, I need you to show me one person in my life that I need to appreciate more. And then just sit back and watch. Because either a shit show is going to unfold so that you know which person you actually need to rid of your life. Or you're going to go through something where someone's going to do something extremely nice for you and you're going to remember that you should have more appreciation for them. Like, it is so cool to watch in action if we start speaking up and really doing the co-creation from our own source self. So they're asking you to observe. They're asking you to also observe that as you shift your focus, they want you to watch the way that life starts flowing again. There becomes this different ebb and flow when we're no longer limiting ourselves to only staying stuck and married, subscribed to one perspective. That's the self-loathing side, right? We're dual human beings. That's just how it goes. Our left and our right brain do different things, but they want you to start observing when your inner voice is trying to actually guide you and navigate you and give you answers, and when it is that the critical voice inside totally shuts down that guidance and actually pulls you in the opposite direction, just so that you can become more clear and more deliberate in the way that you correct your own thinking and feeling. Okay, you've got the power. It's time to control yourself a little bit more. A lot of the times people haven't been given the education behind the correlation between the mind, body, and the soul, how the communication system works in there, and how it is that we actually are responsible for being in control of certain things. Often we're trying to spend our time controlling our external world and people instead of actually controlling the relationship that we have between our human and our spirit. So it's almost like you're being told to co-facilitate that relationship. Observe the way that the chatter happens, observe the way that the guidance comes through, and recognize that you have more control than you've ever been taught. What I mean by that is it really does come down to flipping the script. When you have negative thinking that's trying to beat you up, or the critical voice is attacking your insecurities or your doubts or whatever that looks like, it is up to you to go, no, thank you. I don't want to think like this anymore because that's a faulty belief. I am now going to remember that these are my strengths. List your own strengths. Love yourself in those moments, man. So many people try and gain control in the outside relationships. Instead, when they see someone going through something where that person feels unloved, they come to the rescue trying to show love, right? But why? At the same time, you're not going to the rescue to show yourself love. Like, hello, it's a little bit contradictory here. You deserve the most love anyone has ever given you. You deserve to give that to you. You deserve to give that to you. So they're really asking you to stop trying to control the outside world and really start to control the inside world at a different level, okay? Because it's time for strengthening the bond that you have with yourself. Self-love. Love abounds was the third, and they want you to spread your wings. So a big part of this message, in my interpretation of the way that they're sharing it with me, is that it is time to strengthen the bond between your ego and your id in order for you to be able to see how love truly is abound, because it is time for you to spread your wings and actually start receiving all of the opportunities that are available to you in order for you to be successful in life. Okay? Don't you want to be successful? Happy, harmony, human being. A harmoniously happy human being. I know I'm a nerd, but whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, it is up to us. So I'm hearing cut the shit, right? Cut the excuses. Cut all of the reasons for you to be unhappy. It is not someone else's fault if you're unhappy. If you're unhappy, you're not keeping up with yourself. What I mean by that is I'm hearing that, in order for us to feel good about ourselves and feel good about what it is that we're doing, feel like we have strength, love ourselves, respect ourselves, that we need to be the ones who are doing the internal correcting, because it doesn't really matter what the outside world has done or said. At the end of the day, in the big picture, it really is about every single day maintenance of ourself. And there's a lot of people that are so busy blaming other people for the shit that they've went through that they're getting in their own way. They're cutting off their own flow in life. They're not allowing for themselves to truly receive, the balance that they are deserving of and the successes and opportunities that they're deserving of, because they're so busy crying over the person that hurt them that they're completely letting themselves unwind thinking about that other person, instead of using the same effort and energy to actually shift their thinking, shift their focus, and start doing things for themselves, to take accountability for their own choices, their own standards, their own tolerance, their own whatever the case may be, right? We're going through this massive spring space, and we're springing into clarity. Well, it's time to get clear on your own role in your life, in all of your interactions, in everything. Instead of pointing the finger at that person, take the metaphor of those three fingers pointing back at you. Start really doing some self-evaluation so that you can check in with yourself. A lot of people are afraid to go in and heal their wounds because they're afraid of what they're going to see. And yet, when you're afraid of what you're going to see, you never face yourself. And when you start facing yourself, you can start accepting yourself different. And when you start accepting yourself different, you do find a balance in between all of your dualities. And you actually start recognizing that it is in your power to start spreading your wings and flying. Start allowing yourself to enjoy life. Start getting into happy zone. Start letting yourself actually evolve and connect with opportunities out there that are on the same wavelength as you, because you have actually chosen to declare that you are in control and that you do have guidance and that you will follow through on what it is that you're hearing. Okay? So yeah, 4 different decks were I was directed to 4 different decks when I first started this shuffle. It's crazy how many came out in the first one. We're already 30 minutes in and they're asking me to go into deck number 2, so I'm going to honor that. There is some that have fallen out. When I shuffle, I don't stop until I hear stop. And I don't pick any out of the deck unless I'm told to. I just let them fly out. I let the angels say what they need to. We do have some flyers here already, so I just have to wait until I hear stop. Okay. Let's see what's being added to this spread. Okay, so they're I guess that my sense right now automatically is that they're going to bring in some key things to remember in order for you to be able to shift your space. Okay, so one of the things that is going on is the space of it kind of relates back to the nature place. Okay, so it's about like getting in tune with yourself. They're asking you to be very gentle with yourself right now as you shift your focus. Gentle on yourself from the space of knowing that internally you are aware that even if you've been stuck in your past, that you are capable of being able to get into the mode of healing and start bringing yourself into the light. You are aware that it is time to nurture yourself in a totally different way and reignite the passion within you. Reignite your desire to be happy, reignite your desire for opportunity, reignite your desire to share your heart and your voice and your senses with other people. And the other thing that they're asking for you to do is to really clear your space. Now, I'm hearing this in a couple different ways, because clear your space could definitely be about the clutter in your house, renewing. So you know how when you go through a spring cleaning, you're getting down, you're throwing out all the stuff that no longer serves you, the things that you no longer need to hang on to. You're cleaning out all the nooks and crannies of all of the old winter stuff. I'm really hearing to clear your space, but I'm also hearing to clear your mind, body, and soul. So removing any energy blockages that are limiting you from being able to move forward. So that would go see a healer. Reach out to people that do healings. Definitely use your intuition regarding healings. There is some people that will say that they do healings, and unfortunately they're so caught up in their spiritual ego that they won't ever let on to the fact that they're maybe not as capable of being as in tune as they know that they're working towards. So just use your own intuition and guidance regarding who to reach out to and who to speak with about doing your healing. So clearing the space. I'm seeing right now all these different chakras activated. So clearing out your chakras, getting rid of all of the debris and static that has been within your chakras because you've been carrying all of this old crap from the past forward. So they're asking you to like drop the baggage, right? Clear your space. Let go of what no longer serves you. If being miserable was serving you so that you wouldn't step out into all that you are, then it's time to drop the baggage, drop the misery, and just finally take the step into who you are, right? So clearing your space. What else do they want to say about that? They're asking for, it's really about clearing the mind, okay? Clearing the mind of the negativity. Now listen, because we're human beings and the way that our beings function, you're never going to be able to stop the negativity. It's like there's two different functions within us, and no one's really taught us this, but the left mind does the critical voice chatter, and the right side of us does the guidance and the sane chatter, okay? So one kind of makes us want to go insane, one kind of brings us back down to earth and helps us ground. But I'm hearing it's about really clearing the space for yourself, setting the new space for you to actually be able to change your focus here. And being able to, the more that you correct the negative thinking and shift the low energy vibrations that you're feeling, the clearer your space will feel, okay? And what I'm seeing is not only your mental space, but your emotional space and your energetic space, okay? It's time to let go of the hurts and the pains of the past that are holding you back in order for you to truly be able to take advantage of this amazing 2019 under the influence of Jupiter. One of the big things is that a lot of people have been going through a lot of stuff for the last 12 years. Roller coaster rides, that amusement park kind of example of sometimes it's been fun as hell and sometimes it's been scary as hell. And the last time that Jupiter was around, it really did help the planet evolve into the higher consciousness, but we're doing it at a completely different level now. And what, you know, it's kind of at the point that if you're gonna just be sitting there pretending like you can't feel, hear, see things, pretending that your senses aren't active, you're going to drive yourself nuts. So start connecting with the people that are on the same page as you, that really do feel things, that are telepathic, that do have psychic abilities, that do have the gift of sensing and feelings, are empaths. That was a ridiculous amount of cards. Let's see what they are adding to the spread. I have never done a reading that has been this many cards. So, spiritual growth, there it is, folks. In order for us to be able to find serenity within ourselves, meaning that the balance, the clarity, it is time for us to really start looking at ourselves from a different level, being able to trust that there is guidance from the angels. They do want us to find harmony. They do want us to find forgiveness for ourselves, for ripping ourselves off the amount of times we have, for as long as we have, forgiving ourselves for that, surrendering to the guidance that is available, trusting in the guidance that's available, in order for us to be able to truly care about ourselves in a different way and celebrate who it is that we've become. I'm hearing that there's lots of people that have went through lots of dreams in the last little bit, that in the dream world, there's been a lot of healing that's been taking place on a 5D level between a lot of different people, whether it be parents, friends, lovers, co-workers. The dream state has been very active in 5D in order for us to feel safe enough to address the wounds or let go of the wounds. And you know, I'm feeling this sense of like dropping the swords, the baggage is down. Okay, it's about that time. It's about time that I remember I'm awesome, regardless of how much stuff I've carried around, or it's time for me to remember that no matter how much I beat myself up, it's time to be my own best friend and be my own cheerleader. I'm hearing nature is a way of being able to go into that quietness to really, really tune into your own clairvoyance, and to really nurture yourself at a different way. They are saying again, be gentle with yourself. This is not an easy process. A lot of people go, oh, healing. The healing world makes it sound like it's easy, because the ones that have went through the healing are so liberated by the time that they come out of it, that sometimes we forget what a mess it was in order to go through all of the different layers and processes we've needed to go through in order to actually be healed from the old wounds that we had. So one of the things that I'm hearing is, as you make the choice to change your focus and continuously support yourself through the process of evolving, and clearing your space and embracing a whole new place for you to be able to blossom and to evolve with the season change, that it really is about being mindful and respectful to both sides of yourself. So, for example, forgiveness coming up, to me, I'm sensing that it's like, saying to your spirit, I'm so sorry for the amount of times that I've heard you speak and I've ignored you. Or I'm so sorry for not following your guidance. Or the other side, I forgive myself for beating myself up and believing that what other people have said about me in my past means that's who I am or what I'm about. I now surrender to the limitations I have put upon myself. I am now choosing to break out of the jail of negativity, of self-loathing, of self-deprecation that I've put myself in. Okay, so I'm just hearing that there's a couple different ways that I just feel like there's like this playfulness that needs to come back. I feel like so many human beings on this planet have been taking life so seriously, and they've been trying to control that, the control card that's here, they've been trying to control so many things, but they're walking backwards with what they're trying to control. Sorry, I guess I'm losing some light here. They're walking backwards with what it is that they're choosing to control, because they're not doing the internal control work that they need to do in order for their own intelligence and potential to go through the diamond pressure, to create them into the diamond that they actually are, right? So they're trying to control external circumstances, but they have internal work that is required. Once you do the internal work, your external world is going to shift. It has to. I'm also hearing, excuse me, there's something about music and passion. I feel like I'm speaking to a collective that, over the last couple of years has kind of allowed for their musical capabilities to fall off to the sideline in a different way. A part of healing, like it's interesting, because in the gentleness card, the archangel here is also playing an instrument. So the fact that music has shown up on the board, and so has passion, and the fact that we've been talking about the healing process, I feel like this is some angels that are asking for people that are musically inclined, or it's not even just music, because it is, I'm seeing writing, I'm seeing painting, I'm seeing dancing. So the creative expression, which comes from our sacral chakra, start to embody and embrace and balance out the human pain with your creative spirit, is the message. Okay, so it's a really, really beautiful way for us to actually turn our wounds and our pain into beauty, is to create the artistic expression that's available for us, in order for us to see the other side. So it's almost like I'm seeing this person, writing some music or playing some music, speaking about the space of the wound and what they learned, and the outcome of them sharing what the wound was, but what they learned from it really transforms the pain into the beauty, the way that they deserve to see how beautiful that pain actually was. Okay? So that is all for today, folks. I am so grateful. Actually, that's hilarious because no, it's not all for today. They just reminded me that they actually directed me to 4. So we're just gonna see who's overseeing our journey here. I feel like, oh, there we go. We have the Well Watcher. So this is about wisdom and the power of the divine. You can't make this stuff up, man. Like, for the amount of cards that I've just used, the way that they've come out and have allowed for them to consistently complement the message of things. It is time to get into your divine power. It is time for you to recognize the divine guidance that is here and available to you if you're willing to change focus and if you're willing to start really declaring and following through with flipping your script on all of the thoughts and behaviors that work against you so that you can walk with intent in deliberate guidance, deliberate power, and that you can actually create the life that you've always desired and you want to live. All right? That's all, folks. If you guys would like your own, obviously it's general, so if you guys would like your own individual session, hit me up. If you guys are looking for a healing session, that's also available. And again, insight coaching is available for you to be able to really get down and through all of your different dualities in order for you to be able to see the love and light that you truly are and be able to walk towards the love that you are. So much love for every single one of you on this planet. Miss V out. Talk to you soon.